I spent $20,000 on a dream family vacation to Hawaii, picturing sun-drenched beaches and 3 generations laughing together. Yet at the airport, my son looked me in the eye and said, "I forgot to buy you a ticket. Just go home." They had planned from the very beginning to leave me behind like yesterday's garbage. 3 weeks later, they came back from paradise, and their eyes nearly popped out of their heads when they saw the tall man in the dark suit standing next to me, because that man was ready to end their world as they knew it. Before we go on, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments what time it is, where you're watching from right now. My name is Everett Langston. My son is Corbin Langston. His wife is Rowan. Their children are Lila and Jonah. Rowan's parents, who always join these big trips, are Beatrice and Malcolm Hartwell. "Dad, I have some terrible news," Corbin said, his voice slicing through the roar of the terminal. I froze with my suitcase half rolled, the bright Hawaiian Airlines counters stretching ahead like a promise about to be broken. "What kind of terrible news?" I asked, though the knot in my stomach already knew. He stared at the departure board instead of at me. "I forgot to buy your ticket." The words floated in the air, poisonous and deliberate. Around us, families rushed past, clutching boarding passes, chattering about luau's and snorkeling, and every happy sound felt like a slap. "You forgot?" My voice came out smaller than I meant. "Corbin, we've been planning this for 3 months. I gave you $20,000 for all of us." I know," he muttered, eyes still anywhere but mine. "Work has been insane. There was so much to coordinate." I was already moving toward the counter, dragging my bag. This was fixable. It had to be. The agent in the crisp blue uniform smiled professionally. "I need whatever flights you have to Honolulu today." She typed, frowned, typed again. "I see a reservation for Corbin Langston, party of 4. 2 adults, 2 children, no Everett Langston attached." The terminal tilted. "That's impossible. Check again." "I've checked 3 times, sir. Would you like standby?" "Yes, anything. First class, whatever it costs." Corbin appeared at my elbow, hand clamping my arm. "Dad, we need to talk." I shook him off. "Not now. We're fixing this." "No, we're not." His grip tightened, pulling me away from the counter. "The flight board's in 20 minutes. My family is already through security." "What are you saying?" He finally met my eyes, and there was no guilt in them, only relief. "You need to go home, Dad? We'll call you from the hotel." Just like that, $20,000, 3 months of excitement, and I was an inconvenience to be discarded. He turned and walked toward the gates. I watched my only child disappear into the crowd, knowing with sudden, brutal clarity that the ticket had never been forgotten. It had never existed. The same agent watched me with growing sympathy. "Sir, would you like me to check that reservation's booking date?" "Please." Her fingers flew across the keys. "Booked 6 weeks ago. Party of 4. Never modified to add another passenger." 6 weeks, not 3 months, when we sat around my dining table poring over hotel brochures. Not even last week, when Corbin swore he was finalizing details. 6 weeks ago, he had already decided I would not be coming. I asked about other airlines, other days. Everything was sold out because of a convention. The only seat in the entire state of Hawaii that week cost $1,800, and arrived Thursday, when their vacation would be half over. My phone buzzed, a text from Corbin. "Sorry, Dad. We'll call from the hotel. Take care." Take care, like I was a neighbor's dog he'd fed once. The final boarding call for their flight crackled overhead. I watched the last stragglers hurry down the jetway, families, real families, heading to the paradise I had paid for. I picked up my suitcase and walked the other way. The taxi line was long, but I welcomed the wait. It gave the rage time to settle into something colder, cleaner. "Where to?" the driver asked. "Montclair District, Oakland." As we merged onto the freeway, I stared at the peninsula sliding beneath us. All those tidy houses where other families were probably planning dinners together, not calculating how to exile their father. "Rough day?" the driver asked, meeting my eyes in the mirror. "Getting rougher by the minute." He chuckled without humor. "Family knows exactly where to stick the knife, don't they?" That was exactly what it felt like. A blade twisted slow. By the time we pulled into my driveway, the sun was sinking behind the Oakland hills, and I was no longer the same man who had left that morning full of anticipation. I paid the driver $60 for a $47 fare. "Whatever you're planning," he said with a grin, "I hope they deserve it." Inside, the house was exactly as I'd left it. Quiet, waiting, smelling faintly of lemon polish and the memory of my late wife, Clara. I changed into comfortable clothes, poured a small scotch, and opened the folder labeled Hawaii 2025. 23 documents, every one a betrayal. The hotel confirmation was the worst. Grand Wiley Resort, Ocean View Suites, 10 nights, 7 guests. Corbin, Rowan, Lila, Jonah, Beatrice, Malcolm, and Clara Langston, my wife, dead 3 years. They had put her name down instead of mine. I picked up the landline. Clara always insisted we keep one, and dialed the Grand Wailea. "Reservations. This is Leilani. How may I help you?" "I need to cancel the Langston booking arriving tomorrow." A pause. Typing. 7 guests, Ocean View Suites. "Sir, canceling this close incurs a full penalty, $3,200. "That's fine. Cancel it." "May I ask why? Perhaps another date's—" "Cancel it now, please." More typing. Done. The primary card holder will receive confirmation. When guests arrive tomorrow, we will inform them the reservation was canceled by Mr. Everett Langston at 6:47 p.m. Pacific Time. Perfect. Corbin would know exactly who ended his dream. I hung up and slept better than I had in months. The next morning, my phone showed 56 missed calls, all from a Hawaiian exchange. The texts escalated from polite to frantic to furious. 11:47 p.m. Hawaii time. "Dad, please call. Urgent." 12:03 a.m. "Hotel says you canceled everything." 4:30 a.m. "Kids are crying. We have nowhere to go." I poured coffee, ignored them all, and waited. At 8:03 a.m., California time, the phone rang again. I answered. "Dad, finally!" Corbin shouted. In the background, I heard Rowan hissing about disaster and Lila crying. "What the hell did you do?" "Good morning, Corbin. How's the vacation?" "Don't play games. We slept in the lobby. Call the hotel and fix this." "Tell me," I said calmly, "when you left me at the airport yesterday, where did you expect me to sleep?" "That was different." "How?" We're stuck in a foreign state with children and no money. Yesterday you told me to just go home from a foreign airport. What changed? Rowan's voice in the background. Tell him about the credit cards. Ah, yes, I said. The credit cards you maxed out expecting my money to pay them off while I sat home alone? Corbin's tone turned ugly. When I get back, you're going to regret this, old man. I wrote the threat down word for word, dated it, and hung up. That afternoon I drove to the 15th floor of a glass tower in San Francisco and laid every receipt, every text, every bank transfer on the desk of my attorney, Grant Whitaker. Grant listened without interruption, took meticulous notes, and finally looked up. California law allows you to disinherit anyone for any reason, Everett. With this documentation, financial exploitation, threats, recorded coercion, no judge will touch it. I want Corbin cut out completely. Everything goes to children who actually need it. Scholarships, senior services, real good. Grant nodded. We can have ironclad documents ready in a week. Video recorded signing, 2 witnesses, notary, the works. Do it. 1 week later, I signed my new will in a conference room that smelled of lemon polish and finality. Grant read the key clause aloud. The testator, Everett Langston, being of sound mind, hereby excludes his son Corbin Langston from any inheritance due to prolonged financial exploitation and documented threatening behavior. My signature was steady. The notary's seal thumped down like a gavel. 3 weeks after that, Grant and I stood in the arrivals hall at SFO. Flight 441 from Honolulu had just landed. They came through the doors, tanned and laden with leis and duty-free bags, laughing, until Lila spotted me. Grandpa! She ran, arms wide. Jonah followed. I knelt and hugged them hard, breathing in sunscreen and little kid sweetness, feeling the last small ache in my chest. Then I stood. Corbin saw Grant first, the tall man in the dark suit, leather portfolio under one arm. The vacation ease drained from Corbin's face like someone had pulled a plug. Dad, he said warily, what are you doing here? Welcoming you home, I smiled without warmth. How was the grand Wailea? Beatrice started chattering about buffets and luau's, oblivious. Malcolm went very still. Grant stepped forward. Mr. Corbin Langston? Corbin took the thick manila envelope as if it might bite him. This is a courtesy copy of your father's revised last will and testament, executed May 25th, 2025. Corbin tore it open right there among the suitcases and flower leis. I watched his eyes scan, widen, then fill with raw panic as he reached the disinheritance clause. This is fake, he whispered. Rowan read over his shoulder and went white beneath her tan. Beatrice finally caught on. Everett, surely we can talk. I did think about the children, I said quietly, resting a hand on Lila's shoulder. That's why the Oakland Children's Education Foundation will receive $400,000. Why UC Berkeley engineering students will have scholarships in Clara's name. Why seniors who have no one will get meals and companionship. Real children, real need. Corbin's voice cracked. You can't do this. I'm your son. You stopped being my son the moment you decided $20,000 and a plane ticket were worth more than your father's dignity. Grant handed Corbin his business card. Should you choose to contest, We are fully prepared. Frivolous litigation is expensive. Malcolm put a gentle hand on Beatrice's arm and began steering her toward baggage claim. Rowan looked like someone had punched her in the stomach. Corbin just stood there, clutching the ruined will, mouth working soundlessly. Lila tugged my sleeve. "Grandpa, why is everyone sad?" "Sometimes grown-ups make very bad choices, sweetheart, and sometimes they have to live with them." I kissed both children on the forehead, turned, and walked away with Grant. Behind us, Corbin started shouting my name, but the airport noise swallowed it whole. That evening, I sat in Clara's favorite chair, watching the sun sink behind the hills, drinking tea from the cup she always used. My phone stayed off. Tomorrow the charities would receive their first calls from me. Tonight there was only quiet and the deep satisfaction of justice finally served. Actions have consequences. Some people just have to learn the hard way. If this story moved you, made you angry, made you cheer, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, would you have done exactly what Everett did, or would you have handled it differently? I read every single one. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.